up, guys? It's your boy, Barça Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours, where yet again we have a lot of news to discuss. Firstly, the club is 1 trillion% focused on the transfer of Nico Williams. They're not discussing anything else, not doing anything else apart from getting this deal over the line, and we are expecting a response from Nico Williams in the next 48 hours in regards to personal terms. Once those are agreed or not agreed, the transfer could or potentially not develop. But the reserve option for Nico Williams is, of course, Dani Olmo, but turns out now the club want to sign both Dani Olmo and Nico Williams this summer, and we will discuss the club's plan and how much money Dani Olmo will cost, and I'll give you guys my opinion on the situation and whether or not it's worth it. Also have some updates around Mikel, Merino, and Joao Kimmich potentially joining Barcelona this summer. We do have a right back update as well. Right now, Julian Araujo is the only first team right back. We're still waiting the potential return of João Cancelo, and also the potential future of Sergi Roberto, where we do have significant updates on both of them. And finally, you could say the biggest news over the past 24 hours is the shocking news of Rafa Marquez leaving his position as the Barça Athletic manager because the Mexican national team job offered him a deal. He ended up accepting it, so we'll talk about the details behind that and what the club's plan now is going forward for the B team side. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try and get to 300 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number 1 Foot. Number 1 Foot is one of the best replica football jersey websites on the market right now. They have a variety of different items at absolutely fantastic prices. For me here today, I'm going to show you guys the training kit from this season. This is the warm-up kit that the players use when they go out for training every single day, pre-games as well. You have here the Spotify logo. They have the club badge on it with the diamond as well. And I also have here one of the sweaters they have from last season. This was the Catalonia version. It feels like I bought this from the Nike store directly. The quality is absolutely unreal. The printing is fantastic. And of course, mainly the prices are unbeatable. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get an additional 15% off your final order. That is BOY. Use it at checkout. You get 15% off your order, and all orders above $80 as well will guarantee you free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Click the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 24 hours. Of course, first up, as he always has been for the past 2 months, it is Nico Williams. And regardless of all the noise, players in, players out, whatever it may be at Barcelona, return to the 1-1 rule, training, whatever it may be, the club's 1 billion% focus right now is signing Nico Williams. Ins, outs, other stuff is all being put on pause for this signing. That's how important he is. So all the other stuff you hear right now, oh, this is going to be happening, this is a priority, blah, 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 disregard it completely, because Nico has the full focus of the club. Now, Rushadero Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona has proposed an initial lower salary to the agent of Nico Williams in the first 2 seasons, increasing in the third. Barcelona is moving to secure the funds for the player's €58 million release clause. The club needs a quick decision to finalize their squad and hopes to have it before traveling to the United States for preseason. Now, of course, today is Sunday the 21st. Our first game of preseason is July the 30th in 9 days time. I suspect Barcelona will be traveling to America either Wednesday or Thursday. That's what I anticipate. Again, there's been no confirmation of when Barcelona will actually travel to America, but that's just what I'm guessing based on my ball knowledge and my experience. So that is the timeline, and let's see if Barcelona can complete it. Now, following this, Tony Juan Martins came out saying that Barcelona is in fact optimistic about signing Nico Williams, and he's confident of receiving his approval. The club needs to address financial fair play issues to activate his release clause first. The player has been prioritized over anyone else. Recent talks between Deco and Williams' agent have shown progression, putting the final decision in Nico's hands. Essentially this: if Nico approves the deal and gives the green light to Barcelona, the deal's done. when you have a release clause that needs to be activated, and that's the only way to get the player, if Athletic Club are not going to negotiate whatsoever, include players in the deal to make them fee lower, or we pay over the release clause to have better payment terms. If they just want release clause plain and simple, once the personal terms are agreed, it's a done deal. And I'm expecting we're going to get the news of personal terms being agreed in the next 48 hours. Or not. He could say no. You never know. I expect an answer, I should say, from Nico Williams in the next 48 hours, because Barcelona are pushing. They want this deal done ASAP. That way, they can really focus on what they want to, plan for the rest of the summer. Because again, Nico's an anomaly. He is the golden boy. He is the one that everyone and their mothers want this summer. You can ask any Barcelona fan, who's your dream sign this summer? That's, of course, realistic. Put the Rodri agenda on the side. It's going to be Nico Williams. So hopefully by next week, we're going to have some excellent progressions. I don't think we'll get an official announcement next week, but I do suspect we'll get a here we go for Nico Williams next week, of course, if he says yes. I'm expecting an answer from him. Once we get that answer, probably a day or two for Barcelona to figure out when they want to go straight up to pay the release clause, maybe negotiate with Athletic Club, but we'll see. I think next week we'll get the answer on personal terms, and of course, that'll be the definitive route for the final decision of the potential transfer. Now, another player that Barcelona are targeting in the market is Dani Olmo. The Dani Olmo hype, the steam, the pursuit for him has been intense over the past 48 hours, and yet we have more updates on his situation. What I'm going to do is go through the updates, and I'll give you guys my assessment, my analysis, and my thoughts as well. Now, firstly, Ferran Martinez from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona have made a firm offer to Dani Olmo, consisting of a 6-year contract and a total of around 60 million euros in fixed and variable payment terms to RB Leipzig. Dani Olmo's representatives have convinced Leipzig to extend his release clause for a few more weeks. Barcelona's structure of the wages will be lower payments in the first 2 seasons due to La Liga's financial fair play rules, with increasing starting in the third. Again, very similar to Nico Williams. Santi Ovila from Candacer also confirmed this, saying that Dani Olmo has a proposal on the table from Barcelona. This news was also confirmed by the main man himself, Jordi Romero, saying that the July 20th deadline for Dani Olmo could be extended if a firm offer is made for the player. The game has begun. The negotiations did not affect, of course, Nico Williams' operation. The club is working on signing both players and needs more time. So what's clear right now is that Barcelona have presented an offer on the table to Dani Olmo. What does that mean? That means the club not only wants him, but they're gonna freaking pursue him. Let me hold off on my thoughts. But again, remember, okay, so Ferran Martinez here is saying that we're gonna offer this 60 million euro. What? By the way, what did I say in yesterday's video? The only way I can see Dani Olmo coming to Barcelona this summer is if he has a gentleman's agreement or some kind of, cool pact with RB Leipzig that he'll be sold for around 60 million euros no matter what, especially, of course, when his release clause expired this morning. His release clause is no longer valid, so every time anyone who wants Dani Olmo have to start fresh with RB Leipzig in negotiation. But apparently now, around 60 million euros, despite his release clause being expired, is still valid for the player. Now, this all came out late, Friday night. Into Saturday now, we got even more reports, first reports coming in from Germany, suggesting that once the clause expires, RB Leipzig will be ready to talk and discuss Dani Olmo's departure if that's what he really wants. Provided there's an adequate offer, somewhere around 60 million euros, the aim is for a fair price, neither cheap nor too expensive. This is why I hate to, toot my own horn. This is why I'm the GOAT. I told you guys this in yesterday's video, that I see there's going to be a gentleman's agreement. I had the sense that, especially with Barcelona being interested and all this hype about Dani Olmo and no one being relatively close to activating his release clause, he was going to be available for around 60 million euros for the entire summer. I was convinced, and now we got all the confirmation a day later. Now, this is coming in from Germany as well, saying that, look, he will be sold for around 60, maybe 50 with variables, 60 flat out, whatever the case may be. Now it flips over to the Barcelona media. Tony Juan Martí has come out saying that Barcelona intends to sign both Dani Olmo and Nico Williams, although Nico Williams is definitely the priority. However, for Olmo's transfer to happen after signing Nico Williams, if he says yes, of course, a significant sale is necessary. Makes sense. And no current key player who has a good market value is willing to leave Barcelona. You cannot get more of a blatant answer. So again, the club want to sign. Oh, still 25 Martin did mention that if the Nico Williams operation fails, let's say Nico Williams says no, he wants to stay at the Athletic Club or go to Arsenal or Chelsea or whatever the case may be, then Dani Olmo will become the priority. So for Barcelona, it's quite clear now, they've decided they want both Nico Williams and Dani Olmo. Let's talk about that. Nico Williams, green check, perfect, beautiful. We won't even touch that. He's a priority. You sign him. It does make, of course, Dani Olmo operation difficult. If Nico Williams says no to Barcelona, the club will spend that money on his release clause, of course, that we do definitely have to pay Athletic Club. They'll spend that on Dani Olmo. But the club want Dani Olmo. Why? We're spending 60 million on Dani Olmo when Onana went to Aston Villa for the same freaking price. We want Dani Olmo when Martin Zubimendi, who played brilliantly in the second half of the Euro final, who we have been tracking for 2 years now, is the same freaking price. You want to sign Dani Olmo because you fear that Pedri is always injury prone. You feel that Gundogan is going to leave. You think Fermin Lopez still a bit, maybe you could say, too early to fully trust in him. Those are all valid arguments. What is this on the screen? Read what this is on the screen. Look at Dani Olmo's injury history. And why is he injury prone? Because he had the same problem as Pedri 3 years ago. He played in the Euros in 2021, then got shipped off to the Olympics, played about 70 games that year. He's not recovered since. Look how many days he's missed since the 2022-23 injuries, and look at the type of injuries as well. All muscle and joint problems. He's literally a carbon copy of Pedri. Look, Dani Olmo is an absolutely fantastic player. I think he's definitely of the level of Barcelona. I would take him at Barcelona. The issue is, and what has all the Barcelona fans right now in uproar, he is not a signing that we need. I said this a month ago. He is a luxury signing. He's a player that you add to a squad that's already a complete to make it more competitive and make it stronger. The comparison I always use is what Man City did 2 seasons ago with Erling Haaland. They had a complete squad. They had Gabriel Jesus up front and all this stuff, and Phil Foden playing false nine, and everyone, whatever the case may be, they needed a striker to complete their squad. They sell Gabriel Jesus, and they brought the best player on the market in Erling Haaland. That season afterwards, they won the treble. Dani Olmo is that kind of player for Barcelona, but we do not need that right now. We are desperate. I would go on my knees right now for a decent pivot. Not a high-level pivot, just a decent pivot. And we have the money for it, but you want Dani Olmo. I really don't get it. And again, people say Pedri's injured. You need someone that can play regular minutes. That's fine. I present to you another Pedri. If Dani Olmo was not injury prone, he'd have a stronger case. I will admit that. But his injury record is not as bad as Pedri, but pretty damn bad. He was injured 3 times last season. Missed over 100 days of games last season. Look at that. He missed 28 games last season, which is probably on par with Pedri, if not just a bit less. I'm absolutely baffled by this. Now, I do want to mention this as well. Fabrizio Romano also confirmed the reports about his price being about the same, saying that Dani Olmo's release clause is, of course, expired last night and no club triggered it. The relationship between RB Leipzig and Dani Olmo's camps remains very good, and the club will literally let him go in the coming weeks for around the 60 million euro release clause price. Again, not to bolster my own horn here, exactly what I said in yesterday's video. We will wait and see. I think, again, with this needing a sale from the current squad, it does, of course, make the operation a bit difficult. And again, you go through the squad. Would I sell Frankie de Jong for Dani Olmo? No. Would I sell Araujo for Dani Olmo? No. Would I sell Christensen for Dani Olmo? No. Would I sell Rafinha for Dani Olmo? No. Would I sell Gundogan? Yes, but I don't think Gundogan has that price. I don't think he's one of those players that has the sale that factor that will implicate the Dani Olmo signing, so that's absolutely irrelevant. Would I sell Victor Roque? No, and again, I think he's still in that kind of, Gundogan area where selling him will not be enough to bring in Dani Olmo. Would I sell Jules Koundé? Absolutely fucking not. If the club sells Jules Koundé to bring in Dani Olmo, I will delete my channel and I will retire as a Barca fan. This flag right here, it's going to be put in the attic, and I am done. I am done. Who else? Ter Stegen, sure, yes, I would, but that's not realistic. And then we're going to go out and get another goalkeeper, because if we go next season with Inaki Peña as number 1, we're going to be absolutely ass, and we're not going to win any trophies whatsoever. So, you know, selling Ter Stegen and bringing in Dani Olmo and finding another keeper is too much on the club to really figure out with only now, what, a month and 10 days left of the window. So, yes for Ter Stegen, but it will not happen. I would sell Araujo and De Jong for Dani Olmo if they refuse to renew their contracts, but they're not going to. I think they will both end up renewing their contracts in due course. Well, I hope they do, but again, right now, if the club says, look, we want to sell one of you guys, you want to renew or not, they both say no, we sell them, no problem with that whatsoever. So we'll wait and see on Dani Olmo. I think, again, it really comes down to other factors apart from the club's strong interest in him. Again, they've offered him a contract, which means that they do want him. They are planning for it. What did Jordan Miro say in yesterday's video? The club want to bring in Dani Olmo, and they want to sell a player who is a big surprise. He didn't say who the player was out of respect for the club's negotiation, which, again, is fine from him. He confirmed it was not Gundogan, and that was it. So we'll see what Deco and co are cooking. From the outside looking in, it's not looking good, bruv. Apart from Nico Williams, of course, that's fantastic. And again, if let's say hypothetically you don't get Nico Williams and you go for Dani Olmo, sure, whatever. That's not really a big deal. IMO, he can play on the left. He can play in the middle, but again, he's not really the left wing that we do need. So praying for Ansu Fati and Remontada even more so than I already am. We'll wait and see. But again, I want to reiterate this one more time. If we sign Dani Olmo ahead of a midfielder, you know, a 6 or an 8 that can play in the double pivot, again, I said in yesterday's video, I will fly to Barcelona myself, sit outside the sports city all day until I get to have a nice little picture with Deco, and I'm going to slap the living hell out of him. And then I'll say it to him in English. I'll say it to him in Spanish if he needs the real translation. You fool. You absolute fool. What are you doing? We'll wait and see how things turn out. But again, the interest in Barcelona is concrete. It's there for Dani Olmo, but a lot of factors have to be in place for this signing to become a reality. Now, despite Barcelona's strong interest in Nico Williams and Dani Olmo, there's still some interest in bringing in another type of midfielder, of course, a DM or a 6 or an 8 that can play on a double pivot. This summer, one of those main options has been Mikel Merino, but apparently Atletico Madrid are really stepping up their interest for him. According to Mateo Marito from Merlivo, he's come out saying that Atletico Madrid wants to include Mikel Merino in the deal for Robben Lenoir. They're aiming for a joint transfer. Merino isn't negotiating with Atletico yet and prefers to wait. His value has increased after winning the Euros, and Barcelona and Arsenal have shown strong interest. With his contract expiring in 2025 and his decision not to renew, Real Sociedad, of course, are open to selling. Now, of course, Atletico Madrid have reached an agreement with Sociedad to buy Lenoir for around 30 million. So apparently now they want to maybe bring that up to 50 million and include Mikel Merino in the deal, something like that, whatever the case may be. So they're showing strong interest, and they're actually talking with Real Sociedad. Again, they're not really talking with the player per se quite yet. He's on vacation. Again, he wants to decide his future near the tailor end of his vacation that we talked about in two videos ago. So again, we'll wait and see. I think if I'm Merino right now, I will definitely play the long game, because again, you'll have clubs interested in you. You will make a move this summer, guaranteed. But if you want that move to Barcelona, you should wait. If you want to go to Atletico Madrid or Arsenal, you can go now, I guess. But why? You can just wait and have all three of them being interested in you anyway. So he's probably going to play the long game a little bit over the next week or so, and we'll wait and see how the interest for Barcelona plays out, especially now with, you know, the club planning on spending I think 60 million on Dani Olmo. And of course, there is always interest in Joao Kimmich. Now, the Bayern Munich director did confirm that he does have, of course, 1 year left in his contract, and that they both agreed to talk and negotiate once the player returns from his vacation. So keep an eye on that with him being eliminated in the quarterfinals. I do expect him to be back in the next few days in Bayern Munich, and we'll wait and see how negotiations go there. So again, keep your eyes peeled for that. If he's available on a free next summer, I think Barcelona will be absolutely all over it. He could be available maybe this summer for around 30 or 20. Again, if we miss Mikel Merino, he will become a very, very strong option for Barcelona. So just keep your eyes on this, especially with, again, the German coach that we do have in Hansi Flick. Again, with Kimmich, I like the player. I like the profile. I don't think he's an actual DM. In a double pivot, though, I won't mind him. Again, I just question the player's attitude behind the scene, which, of course, I talked about a lot in videos over the past few weeks. So keep your eyes on the midfield market. Again, Barcelona is still tracking it for sure, but there's not, you know, as strong interest as it was a few weeks ago. Now everything's all about Nico Williams and Dani Olmo. Now, a position that Barcelona still have a lot of work to do on to really define it and confirm it for the following season is, of course, the right back positions. Right now in the books, you have Julián Araujo and Hector Fort as options, but again, that's not quite strong enough to go for an entire season. Of course, you had two right backs last season that did end up leaving due to their loans and contracts expiring respectively in Sergi Roberto and João Cancelo. And Fabrizio Romano has come out with an update saying that Sergi Roberto is set to leave Barcelona as a free agent this summer and is exploring his options. Barcelona's primary target for the right back position is still João Cancelo, who is now awaiting Barcelona to make a move. Currently, Barcelona is 1000% focused on Nico Williams. After they get that deal over the line or get a decision from the player, they will then start to pursue other targets. When I said to you guys in the beginning the club is 1 billion % focused on Nico Williams, I was not kidding. They're not looking at anything else right now apart from Nico's deal. But again, with Sergi Roberto, firstly, I said it in yesterday's video, I will say it again. Everyone's saying 99% Roberto's going to leave. I still think that 1% will become a reality. And there is some rumors about that. Jordi Gil of Sport, who isn't, top tier level journalist, but he's somewhat reliable, came out saying that Sergi Roberto is still waiting for Barcelona, and in fact, he's quite optimistic that his renewal will become a reality. So this came out before Fabrizio Romano's report, so I guess take that with a pinch of salt. Maybe things did change over that 4 or 5 hour period of the two despairing reports, but I still feel like Roberto is going to end up continuing with Barcelona. I will say this though, if he has no club by August the 1st, I'll be even more confident. Because then I think he's also playing the long game that we talked about, of course, with Mikel Merino. Now, with João Cancelo, of course, I would definitely sign him. Apparently, the club are trying to do a loan with the mandatory buy option with some clauses, being activated, whatever the case may be. I think it's important to get that deal done against a player that's, full of quality, can play on both flanks as well. His attacking prowess is second to none. Yes, defensively, he's a bit shy, but that really just shone in the past 2 months of the season. If you look at his first 8 months of the season, he was one of our best players. Everyone's, glazing him and drooling over him. We finally have some sort of competent right back for the first time since Dani Alves. Got exposed, in 3 games back to back in 3 huge games, 3 of the biggest games of the season. And of course, got some little hate after that, which I think is a bit, of course, the constructive criticism was a bit justifiable, not the actual hate he got. So if we can get this deal over the line, that'd be good. Again, I would spend maybe at most 20 million as a total package for Cancelo. Anything after that, I think City are just, moving mad. I would do a loan with the buy option, maybe the buy option around 30 million euros, just, compensate for that year to, help both sides. But that 30 million, I would have it set as a mandatory buy option if achievements are reached. So maybe we win 1 title, we win 2 titles. Cancelo gets plays, 80% of the games he's available for, something like that. So I would set some strong, objectives for that clause to become a buy option to a mandatory buy clause. But hopefully, I think the club will be fine with this, especially with Jorge Mendes running the whole entire show. So I'll wait and see on that. But Roberto right now is the main question. Again, I still feel like he's going to stay, but the entire media is saying Roberto will not continue at Barcelona. Now, the biggest news and shock around Barcelona over the past 24 hours, in my opinion, has been the news about the Barça Athletic manager, Rafa Marquez, who is set to leave his position as the manager following his renewal just under a month ago. This came as a big shock, and it's been already blown over, confirmed by everyone, and there's set to be an announcement later on today. The news initially broke from the Mexico media, but was first confirmed in the Catalonia media by Gerard Romero's, media company, Gigentes. They came out saying that Rafa Marquez has an offer from the Mexican national team for the next 6 years. He would start as Javier Aguirre's assistant up until the World Cup in 2026, and then he would take over after the World Cup as the head coach. He is currently evaluating the offer and is heavily in favor of it. Now, of course, Javier Aguirre was the Mallorca coach last season. He was sacked at the end. The Osasuna manager was hired. Crazy scenes there. But, he's a very good manager. Of course, Javier Aguirre used to be the Mexico coach. I think he was the Mexico coach in the 2010 World Cup. So he's back now again. I think overall for Mexico, this is a fantastic move. Now, when I first saw this, I'm thinking, he's done. People have to realize, this is Rafa Marquez. He is probably top 3 Mexican players ever. Full stop. Hugo, you can put, Hugo Sanchez there. Chicharito maybe. He might even be top 2. He might even be number 1. I mean, this is Mr. Mexico when it comes to, football. It's Rafa Marquez. And when I first saw this, I'm thinking, yup, he's gone. Look, with Rafa Marquez, the reason why he stayed initially, because he had no really good offers that were going to persuade him and that he was going to be elevating his level as a coach. That's why he stayed at Barça Athletic. And again, he was doing a good job there. I have no problems here with Rafa Marquez. The Mexican national team job is probably the only job that I would have been like, you know what, Rafa, fair play, I salute you. If you left for like, you know, a third division Serie A club, which apparently was rumored a few weeks ago, I would have been pissed. But national team, for your country, where you're already, you know, again, like I mentioned, top 3 in the history of the country, fair play. I cannot, you know, hold no grudges whatsoever. And following this, of course, it was confirmed by everyone. Every single outlet for Fabrizio Romano all came out confirming it, saying that he has decided to accept the job. Following all this, Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Rafa Marquez will leave his position as the Barça Athletic manager this Sunday to become the assistant to Javier Aguirre, the new head coach of the Mexican national team. Marquez is expected to succeed Aguirre as the head coach after the 2026 World Cup. Despite recently renewing his contract, Barcelona will allow Marquez to leave for this opportunity without putting any obstacles. During his 2 seasons as the Barça Athletic manager, he managed 82 games with 40 wins, 21 draws, and 21 losses. Rafa Marquez is, I would say, top 5 Barça Athletic managers I've ever seen supporting this club. You know, you have your Peps, you have your Luis Enrique, you have your Garcia Pimienta. I think Rafa's like next in line at that point. The job he's done for the subsidiary team is nothing short of absolute sheer brilliance, especially succeeding the, you know, one of the worst managers in Sergi Roberto. He came in, did an unbelievable job. Of course, last season he took us to the playoff semifinal. 2 seasons ago, should I say? Sorry, playoff semifinal. Last season, of course, about a month and a half ago, playoff final where we lost to Cordoba in the second leg. We had the first leg advantage. Again, the role of Barça Athletic is not to get promoted. It's to compete, it's to play well, and of course, nurture those talents to the first team. The amount of players under Rafa Marquez, you know, watch that have played and have not been incorporated in the first team is ridiculous. Just look at the names that you've already seen as well. It's outstanding, and there's already more coming up. Your Marc Bernal, your Tony Fernandez, your Gilly Fernandez, your Marc Casados, all the Mikel, all these players that have been, you know, improving and getting minutes under Rafa Marquez. I cannot thank him enough. I salute him. I do not have no grudges of him taking the Mexican national team job. That's probably the only job I think that I would be like, you know what, fair play. Maybe if you got like, you know, like a Bayern Munich job or something like that, which of course wasn't the reality. But this is, now let's switch the perspective a little bit. This is a fucking massive blow for Barcelona. We're trying to work in the market here. We finally have, you know, resolved our Barça Athletic problems. Remember in the last video I told you guys that Rafa Marquez wants about, you know, 5 or 6 signings. Now it's all going to be thrown out the window. We need to find a new manager who right now is in the running and is the main contender to become the successor to Rafa Marquez for the Barça Athletic side. Right now, as things currently stand, it's Julian Belletti, who, remember, was just appointed as the Juvenile A coach about 2 weeks ago. He was, of course, Rafa Marquez's assistant last season, and Mundo Deportivo came out saying the departure of Marquez has caught Barcelona sport management off guard, and now they need to find an urgent replacement. What's also very important, I forgot to mention, Barça Athletic's preseason starts next week. I believe it starts Tuesday, could be even tomorrow on Monday, but they start very, very soon. So this departure comes as, you know, as a shell shock to Barcelona, and an immediate solution needs to be found out. Barça Athletic is scheduled to return to training on Monday. I should have kept on reading it. So they're supposed to be back in training tomorrow, and they don't even have a manager right now. Again, the official announcement for Rafa Marquez will said to be happening at some point today. Could even happen before I upload this video. But right now, Julian Belletti, who was one of Rafa Marquez's assistants, was set to coach Juvenile A this upcoming season, is right now the main consideration for this position. So again, the club want to go ahead and bet in-house. I don't blame them whatsoever. I think I've seen a lot of people bring up on, online, saying Alberto Campañas, who we talked about a lot on this channel over the past few years. I think right now he's the head coach of Midtjylland in Denmark, so I doubt he'll leave that position for Barça Athletic. I've seen some people bring up Javier Mascherano, which would be a pretty cool option, but right now he's taking the Argentina under-23 to the Olympics, so ain't no way in hell he's leaving the Argentina national team job, of course, under-23 job for Barça Athletic now. Anyways, maybe in the future that could be an option. So with Julian Belletti, bring someone in who's already worked under Rafa Marquez, knows his style, he knows some of the players as well. I have no problem with it either, especially with this being absolutely, you cannot get more last second than this. So we'll wait and see who is appointed as the new manager. But again, Rafa Marquez, big shock here for Barcelona, big blow as well of how good he was with Barça Athletic, will leave the club for the Mexican national team job. So again, wish Rafa Marquez absolutely all the best. And I also want to say as well, thank you for the memories that he's brought us with Barça Athletic as well. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. Just one update, and it is on the third choice goalkeeper right now, as things currently stand in the pecking order, under Astralaga. This is coming in from Raccoon. They've come out saying that Barcelona agreed a renewal with Barça Atlètic goalkeeper Astralaga until 2026, with his current deal expiring in 2025, and the announcement will be before leaving for the US pre-season tour. So of course they want to do this to have some sort of hold of the player's future, and of course give him the opportunity in pre-season as well. Right now, going into next season, Astralaga will be the third choice goalkeeper unless he potentially goes out on loan. If he does, then Deco will become the third choice goalkeeper. So between him and Cochin, they're going to be playing of course during the pre-season tour. Just checking and coming back until I would say just before halfway through. I think that first game, I think we do play against Man City. Just checking will definitely not be there. So you have Astralaga probably play some minutes in Pena as well. I doubt Cochin will probably play. But again, this renewal will be important for Barcelona, and we'll wait and see what happens with the future of Astralaga as well. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 24 hours. First up, Hansi Flick is doing an interview. What the bloody hell is this? This came out of absolutely left field. Of course, the rumor was that when Hansi Flick was officially appointed as the manager, the club wanted to really keep him as far away from the media as possible. Again, can't speak Spanish or Catalonia respectively, so it would have been difficult for him to do so. But out of nowhere, he's dropped an interview with Mundo Deportivo, and again, it's all in English, very, very short, but let's see what he had to say. His second time speaking in the public as the Barcelona manager, and he was asked on coaching Barcelona. He said that I felt it since the first day, the passion that people have here, the fans, the president, everyone here working for Barcelona has this passion, the dedication to give their best for this club, and this is also great for us. I think by us he means him and his coaching staff, because we want to be part of the club and also live with this passion, this dedication, because we want to give everything we have to take this club to the next level. I don't know, but we will do our best. When I decided to become a coach, I looked at Barcelona because they play fantastic football. You have to see how they develop players. Everyone talks about it, and it's also a passion that you feel here is incredible, and that's why we were happy to be here. From the first day, I could feel it. Everyone shows respect. It's incredible what we are experiencing. It's similar to what Barcelona does, because it's always been my goal since the first team I coached. I studied the Dutch school of football a lot, and also about Johan Cruyff. He also mentioned as well about La Masia, saying that thank you for having La Masia because the talents there are incredible as well. So very, very short, very, very to the point interview about why he wanted to become the Barcelona coach, and that is it. But the question now is, when will Hansi Flick be presented to the media officially as the Barcelona head coach, and when will he be doing his first press conference? There have been some leaks about this according to Catalonia Radio and also TV3. Hansi Flick's first press conference as the coach of Barcelona will take place this Wednesday. So if that's the case, I believe the squad will probably leave either Wednesday evening or Thursday morning to America to begin the tour. So this is going to be a big interview. This is, of course, when the media can ask him questions straight up, nothing scripted, no BS. It's going to be all in English, so it'll be great for me as well to really get the concrete words of what he's going to be asking for. So tune in for Thursday's video where, oh god, I work Wednesday as well. Bloody hell. Tune in for Thursday's video where we're going to be breaking down that whole entire press conference, targets, system, style of play, objectives, all these stuff that the media will ask him ahead of course, traveling to America for the tour. So again, Hansi Flick there giving his second interview as the Barcelona head coach, with the third expected to be happening this Wednesday. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is in regards to developments that have been happening in training. We've gotten some key answers and key details over the past 24 hours, especially since the open media day on Friday. Now, firstly, I want to go through this report coming in from Sport, mainly from Tony Marti, saying that there was a 9v9 match during training yesterday. Teams consisted of Astralaga, Inigo Martinez, Omido, Cuenca, Alex Valle, Bernal, Tony Fernandez, Noah Darvik, and Quiem as well, and that team won 2-1. Darvik and Juan Ment scored the goals for the winning side. Unai Hernandez scored the goal for the other side, and Victor Roque could have helped his team win the game or draw it. And Victor Roque could have helped his team draw the game, but missed the penalty. I just love how they just throw this, not shade in, but kind of like this little extra negative part to it. Now, also from Sports, saying that sources indicate that Flick is highly focused on group cohesion and ball-focused physical preparation, resulting in more intense training sessions that have been in the past pre-seasons. On days with 2 sessions, the team practically spend the entire day together, including meals and exercises. This wasn't the case in the previous year. The new approach has fostered a very positive atmosphere in the dressing room. Didn't Xavi implement a rule where you had to train and then eat lunch or breakfast or dinner, whatever the next meal was as a group. So I don't really know about all this. I think, again, this is just media glazing the new manager. I saw it under Setien, I saw it under Koeman, I saw it under Xavi, I saw it under Valverde, even saw it under Luis Enrique at the beginning as well, even though a lot of the fans were not really upping and awing about Enrique in his first few months. I've seen it all. I want to see it on the pitch. You can talk about, how you eat your foods and, dentists, teeth gotta be straight so you can digest the food better, whatever the case may be, but I want to see it on the pitch. Now, of course, Victor Roque missed the penalty in training, and there have been some rumors coming out about the future of Victor Roque. And Arsenal Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Victor Roque accepted that Barcelona would now take away his number 19 shirt to give it to Lamine Yamal, without knowing yet if he will be registered for the first team next season or whether he will end up in another team. There's also reports suggesting that Victor Roque had serious problems getting used to the speed of the ball in training sessions on his first day when he entered the Rondo. He didn't manage to get put out of it. This week he wasn't grouped with the first team players like Ansu Fati, Inigo, Romeu, Julian, Inaki, and Lenglet. With them were divided into 3 groups. I didn't want to mention this, but I guess I'll mention it now. This report is absolutely correct. If you look and watch the training videos over the past week and 4 or 5 days, they specifically show the first team players doing rondo. So you'll see Marc Casado being involved in those rondos. You'll see Julian Araujo, Balde, Ansu Fati. Never once have I seen a clip of Victor Roque doing that. Also, the first team players stretch and do warm-ups and all this stuff with the chains together. Victor Roque, nowhere to be seen either. We looked at even the when they do ball work as well. He's now being integrated. I saw him do some ball work with Balde and Ansu Fati. But I don't know, man. Turns out Xavi was right, and you're all hating on him. And you're all hating on Xavi. Oh, Xavi doesn't know anything. Victor Roque is the next best thing. Look, from the videos and clips that I've seen, I still think Victor Roque is a top talent. Of course, what I've seen from Brazil, but it's looking like he's really struggling to life outside of Brazil. So I think loaning him would be absolutely stupid because it's not going to be beneficial for him whatsoever. But we'll see on the American tour if he does start, if he plays, how he controls the ball, stuff like that. But again, the reports aren't the greatest on Victor Roque as things currently stand. But of course, in the life of football, anything can happen and anything can change. Now, speaking about training, some players who are doing well and impressing Hansi Flick, the main one being Mikel. Jordi Gil has come out saying that Mikel could end up, of course, staying at Barcelona due to Araujo's injury because Hansi Flick loves the player. He is doing very well, and he's also, by the way, one of those players that is doing the rondo in the first team section. So like the players you mentioned here, so you have Ansu, Balde, Inigo, Romeu, Julian, and Inaki, Lenglet. I've seen Casado being involved a lot. I've even seen Mikel being involved a lot in those rondos, which means, of course, the club do see him, or maybe Hansi Flick sees him, so I say, as someone that has potential to continue on beyond this summer. And with Araujo being out for the first half of the season, it could go and bode well for Mikel. And finally, we do have quickly an injury update on Pablo Torre, who did return to do some individual work following his surgery on his hands. So again, as expected, with him having a hand surgery, he can still, of course, train and keep up the fitness. Apparently, Pablo Torre still really wants to convince Hansi Flick. He'll be on that plane to America. Whether he'll play in the first game against Man City remains to be seen. I think, again, he still needs his hand to heal a bit before getting into actual action on the pitch. He probably maybe could train with the first team, but right now he's doing a bit of more individual work. So right now the training sessions right now are too intense. And again, with that hand injury, you're going to be pushing and shoving and falling again. So look, I want to make sure he takes some precaution and let that hand heal as well. So he's doing well in his recovery, and we'll wait and see what happens for the rest of the training sessions, of course, ahead of the trip to America for the start of the tour. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing, firstly, of course, is your thoughts on the transfer of Nico Williams. Do you think we will get a final answer over the next few days? And do you think that response will be positive or negative? Second, your thoughts on Dani Olmo. What are your thoughts? Would you sign him? Are you worried about his injury record? Are you worried about the price for him? You think he's a good enough player? Would you prioritize other positions first before bringing in Dani Olmo? Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Third, your thoughts, of course, on the right back dilemma with Cancelo. Will be, your price and margin to sign him. Thoughts on Roberto as well. I think he'll end up leaving the club like the media say, or you believe in Barca boy who is saying he'll end up staying? And finally, your thoughts on Rafa Marquez exiting the club for the Mexican national team. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.